Alright, I'm going to take you for a tour on the Ghostrock and Western Railroad, the end of an era. But now a new era has begun, and I'm going to take you for a tour on the train barn. The train barn's been repainted completely. The exterior of the barn's been repainted. The doors, the trim, and I even included detailing the hinges with some gloss black paint, detailing the hinges on the inside as well, gloss black paint for the hinges, and a fresh coat of paint on the inside because the whole room has been emptied, and what you see now is a workshop for trains, woodworking, and small crafts. But as you can see, I retained 3 lines, 2 overhead lines that have been there, and I reworked the center point-to-point trolley line as well. I lowered it down about 8 inches, and I modeled some of the things that I've kept. I sold 95% of all my indoor details, buildings, trees, cars. The entire indoor layout has been sold on eBay, and I went ahead and remodeled this line. We have the LGB bridge, which I retained, and a few of the other details that I kept. I made the bushes and foliage and hedges myself. I made those, and I kept my Indian friends, which are solid pewter, and I painted them myself, as you can see. And some of the Pricer figures that I liked, the Frontier Men. I have more, but they're not on display because basically there's really no room to keep and display all the Indians and cowboys. I just kind of kept some of the animals and some of the frontier men. The petrified wood rocks give it a nice effect. And the point-to-point runs from back there all the way across. The building itself is a 36-foot building. These also, the coyotes are metal. I painted them and retained them. And I also retain these small facades. They're buildings you see sometimes in the stores and such, but I kept one of the water towers as well. It's an Aristocrat water tower. And this basically represents Williams, Arizona, in high country. And the train stops at this end of the point. There's my power section. 1 10-amp Aristocrat and 2 Train Engineer transmitters. Move the shelves out here. The shelves are on a 4-wheel dolly, so I can kind of move them around a little bit, move them back and forth to where I need them. I cleaned out the drawers, labeled everything. Oh man, it was some kind of job. I organized all the parts and all the things that I need to perform maintenance on the trains. It's a pile of some of the leftover wood that I had from the tables. I'm keeping it for some firewood. And that's it. All the whole building has been, the floor was painted, the walls were painted, the shelves were painted. And I'm displaying some of the stuff I have here, but I have plenty more inside the workshop. Circus trains, Bachmann log cars, Aristocrat, various stuff. I don't own much of the USA and Aristocrat, you know, more expensive type rolling stock because I run my trains, and when you run trains outside, you know, there's a good chance of them, you know, getting dirty and damaged and, you know, derailing and falling over, getting scratched and things like that. So with the more inexpensive Bachmann stuff, I can go ahead and run them without fear that I'm going to devalue their worth. But some of these cars I've had for over 20 years. Some of them are fairly new, but I think most of them I've had for many, many years, including the Super Chief cars there. And the engines are kept on the shelves here. I usually have, you know, the Hershey's RS3, LGB Sumter Valley, and on the opposite side I keep my LGB Mogul, the LGB Mikado, and the Bachmann 10-wheeler, which has a Barry's Big Trains drivetrain. And this drivetrain will pull probably, well, I haven't tried it, but it'll probably pull 30 cars. It's quite heavy and it's quite robust. Not like the stock Bachmann drivetrain that lasts about 10 minutes. But I have some various tools and such. Alright, sorry about that. Had a little bit of a disruption, but we're back in action. I'd like to go outside now and show what I've done outside. I've completely reballasted the track, made sure that the track was level as I could make it. I also filled in the track with some dirt and ballast, making sure not to get the dirt and things into the joiners, because I don't think it'll be any good for that, although the joiners are holding it well. The electrical conductivity is holding fine. I rearranged some of the buildings. I added the Indian teepees, as you can see, and moved a few things around, added a couple of side tracks for display, and moving along I can see the buildings. I replaced them, you know, found better positioning for the buildings, and I kept my passenger station and placed it outside. Inside my warehouse, you can see the little tray right there of mice poison, because the chipmunks, squirrels, and rabbits destroy my railroad. There's so many of them, and I thought I'd kind of just give them a little treat to keep them at bay. They've already eaten half of it. This section here was kind of completely dug out by animals, and erosion, wind, weather, things like that. So I refilled it, rebalanced it, added some 3/4 rock, and it filled it in, rebalanced the track. Looks pretty realistic, runs good. So far so good, no problems with electrical conductivity. I also added these logs to shore up the side, because over time the hillside seems to fall and the track is exposed, pretty badly. So I reworked that as well. Worked hours and hours on getting the railroad back. I enjoyed it immensely. I think what I'll do is probably sprinkle a bit of concrete on these 3/4 inch gray rock and then sprinkle it a little bit with water, and I think that will keep it intact. It'll prevent the chipmunks from digging in there and the dog running over it and, you know, people stepping on it and things, and it'll just kind of act like a bit of glue to retain the shape of the rocks. The sun is low, shadows are low. You can see my shadow here. Hello everyone. Yep. This is the Ghostrock and Western Railroad, 2013, November 20th, 8 days from Thanksgiving. I also gave the gasoline pump a new coat of red paint. I gave the railroad switch a new coat of black paint. Reassembled all the antiques and junk all around it. I'm about to switch trains. I'd like to go ahead and run some diesel. What you're looking at here is a parade of Bachmann rolling stock with the Bachmann consolidation. That also has a Barry's Big Trains drive on it. So it's pretty much bulletproof. It runs really good and it's very heavy. But you'll notice that the tender on the back is not the tender that came with the Bachmann. There was an accident inside the room, inside the train barn. It fell and hit the floor and damaged the trucks. So I repaired it, but I don't have a way of repairing the coupler yet, and I'll come up with something. But in the meantime, I'm just running that Aristocrat Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe 129 scale tender. It works. It looks great. It runs fine. Once in a while, it kind of jumps the track a little bit. I don't have a proper coupler on there, and I think I need to just fine-tune it. But otherwise, it is running without incident, if you know what I mean. I'd like to show you the rails that I have. All this rail, it's all brass. It all came off of some 20-year-old track where the ties were so brittle they just came off like crackers. It was just so dry and brittle it just fell off like crackers. And so I'm going to have to look into getting some ties, because I do have quite a few 3-foot sections in there and a couple of 2-foot sections and a couple of curves as well. So once I get ties on those, I can go ahead and sell them as well. I don't need them, and I'm going to sell them on eBay, and someone will need them, but I'm running stainless steel outdoors, and I'm running brass indoors. I've got the LGB F7s up there, ABA, can't see them behind the train now, but and on the outside I've got a Bachmann cattle cars and the Rio Grande GP30. So I'll try running that right now and give you a demonstration of what it's like to run the trains indoors. Sounds like I got some squeakers up there. Not sure what it is. Probably the dry, cold weather has caused some friction. I have to get that lubed up. Squeaking is though, but that's got to go. Rio Grande GP30, clear, track 1. Alright, we're going to go ahead and start up the LGB again and see if we got that squeaking noise. I think we do. it's not bad. I've got some squeakers on the Bachmann cars, but the cars, they've been up there for months and months and months. You know, it takes some maintenance to keep the rails clean. And well, the rails stay pretty clean indoors, not a problem. And I run cleaning cabooses on the back with LGB cleaning pads and cleaning feet. So the brass stays pretty polished, but it's just the sitting, the weather, the temperature changes, and the axles. They need grease. I don't think I've done it. I mean, I've got a lot of rolling stock, and if I took one by one, took it down, then I'd have to probably grease them all up. But I only grease what needs grease. The squeaky wheel gets the grease, so they say. No sense in greasing something that does not squeak. It attracts dirt and things like that, and you end up having to clean it out a little bit and then re-greasing it. Anyway. The train barn has got an air conditioner. I had to pull out the old one. The old one was actually on the wall behind that shelf, but I repaired, actually, let's see, it was actually right here where this plug is. I repaired the drywall here, I had a neighbor help me. I'm not real good at that, but now I'm a lot better than I used to be because I helped him and he kind of showed me what to do. But I installed this with him as well. It's a smaller air conditioner, but it's adequate. During the summertime, it keeps it, about 82 in here, and that's fine. I could get it cooler, but why run the thing? Even 84 is comfortable, 86 is comfortable, as long as the electronics are protected. And when I do spend time down here, it's not 120 degrees, and let's see what we got here. It's a perfect 75 right about now. And one more shot of the indoors. This is the window on the outside, but I got a piece of foam in front of it for security and for insulation. I can pull it out whenever I want to. I've got a supply cabinet in here, paints and electronics and parts and things like that. Some various signage, circus signs, train signs, Lionel signs, Grand Canyon. Stuff that I've collected over the years. So, I am going to keep these cars up there. You've seen the moving beacons. Beacons, Mayflower, Allied. Those I'm going to keep. Those are from USA Trains. Some of my favorite ones. And you can see some other USA stuff. And I do have some Aristocrat. But those are things I've had for years and things I'm going to keep as rolling stock. So, I guess that's about it. There's a lot more to show you. I'll probably run some outdoor trains here. I really need to clean up the Aristocrat PAs. Got a PA and a PB system. No sound, but it's so dusty and dirty. I gotta wax it and clean it up. And I'll be running the Super Chief cars there. The silver aluminum extruded. Those are beautiful. If I do purchase other trains, I might just get another car for that train. Get another dome coach or dome liner because they're very beautiful. Okay, well, that's about it for now. I'm going to sign off. Thank you for watching. And until next time, I'll see you then.